Canes fans, Canes fam, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Sitting here, I'm watching this New Orleans Minnesota game. I'm watching Minnesota get smoked at home by New Orleans. Isn't that nice, man? For like, I'm like, that must be nice to have like great coaching and a great quarterback. I'm from a pro football perspective. I'm a Dolphins fan, and we haven't had a great quarterback since Marino retired. That's something, man. That's saying something. Um, but I'm not going to talk about pro football. I'm talking about the Hurricanes. Just some. I just got some more thoughts about the past couple of weeks because right now the fan base is in an uproar and not a good one, and it's kind of panicky right now. The panic button has been pushed, and you know, I just trying to get. I'm just an average fan, dude. I'm just an average dude, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. I'm watching videos from it's all about the U83 and Lonzo 1219 and Universal Empire and college football vids. I'm watching all these guys, all these different Hurricane fans, and going on Twitter and listening to Kane Shades Radio and just trying to get some perspective on what's going on, you know, and you know, uh, the video I posted a couple of days ago after the Boston College loss, I was saying how Rick wanted choir boys, and he was unnecessary. I basically alluded that he was unnecessarily putting too much emphasis on a social media video, and it was ignorant of me to do that because I hadn't yet watched the social media video. It was an Instagram video, just a quick clip, okay. And some of you guys are going to disagree with me on this, and I appreciate that. Feel free to voice your opinions in the comments below. Um, because I was just like everybody else, frustrated for the life of me. I couldn't figure out why in the world is this coach got a guy that is clearly the most talented at the position on the team sitting the bench behind a player that him and everybody else has got to realize is less talented at the position. He watches tape, they go over the stats. They're not that incompetent. They know what's up. They know the completion percentages. It ain't hard to tell. All right. Um, and then I realized, I, wa- I watched that Instagram video of Nkosi Perry riding out with his boy, Dade County style, mouth full of gold teeth. And, when I heard it was a video of him holding money, I'm thinking, okay, he's probably holding, $400 or $500, maybe $1,000. Okay, you know, big deal. Man, that looked like he had about $20,000 in his lap. Looked like he had just got done pulling a lick. Like he just got done finishing a drug deal. And you know what? Y'all might say that's being stereotypical thinking. I'm just calling it like I see it. Okay? But, and I know I'm not saying, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the Cozy Perry is some dope deal or nothing like that. He's not. He's just a, he's just a college kid. He didn't break any NCAA rules, didn't break any laws, not against the law to ride around, with bundles of cash in your lap. But it's all about perception. Okay, we know what this school is. It's the University of Miami. It has a reputation, whether warranted or not. It doesn't have the leeway to get away with things like big state schools. Ohio State, Florida State, they can have wife beater coaches and they can have kids walk into bars and punch women in the face and kids go into grocery stores and dine and dash and they can, schools like Florida and other places can have kids pull credit card fraud schemes and all that. And the programs aren't going to get investigated. They're big state schools with big budgets that put a lot of money into NCAA. Miami and other small private schools, the Miamis, the USC, the Miamis and the USCs of the world, they don't have that luxury. They don't have that luxury. And I think Mark Richt, because he's a dude who stands by his principles, and I don't agree with everything he does. There's a lot of problems with the program. You got problems with the offensive line, problems with the special teams. Quarterbacks aren't getting developed, and the play calling is atrocious. But in terms of the quarterback position itself, it's clear N'Kosi Perry is the most talented quarterback on the team. Okay, um, and he's been in the system for a while. But I think because of that video and a few other things that I've heard in terms of character issues and maturity issues, I think Mark Rick. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that he's probably pretty much written N'Kosi Perry off. Um, because right now, Mark Rick, part of the reason why he was hired was to help clean up the program and clean up the perception of the program. Mark Rick has a very good reputation in college football in terms of the actual day-to-day runnings of the program and keeping the program clean. Um, in Miami, we're getting and look, you don't hear about Miami players getting in scuffles with police and getting in a lot of trouble. The issue with Miami is really it's been like boosters and stuff and admin and people doing stuff that they're just not supposed to be doing and directing players in a manner that they shouldn't be and and getting the program in trouble. It's usually outsiders with filth in their hands that tamper with the program. Uh, but still, Miami, warranted or unwarranted, they have the reputation of thug you and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's blah because there aren't any thugs on the squad, but perception. Okay, and we just don't want to give the NCAA an excuse because you know Ohio State they can have a wife beater on the team, and the University of Florida can have students on a credit card scheme, and you know no biggie. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's talking about killing the program. Just investigate a coach, investigate a couple of players. But Miami, if they breathe wrong, okay, you'll have the NCAA and their hounds sniffing and breathing around the program. And I think Mark Rick is more concerned with keeping. He would rather keep the perception of the program clean and keep the NCAA hounds out of Coral Gables and win 7, 8 games with Malik Rozier than win 10, 11, 12 games with N'Kosi Perry and have the NCAA saying, well, what in the hell? Because the first thing I thought when I saw that video, that clip on Instagram, the first thing that came to my mind was, well, where did he get that money from? He's a college kid on scholarship, and you know the NCAA, they're pimps. So trying to look at it from an NCAA perspective, it's where did he get that money from? He ain't got no business having that money. We're the ones that's supposed to profit off of these athletes, not the athletes. Because that's what the NCAA does. God forbid a player sell a jersey for $500 or put his autograph on a helmet or a pair of cleats and sells it for $1,000 for maybe he can get some clothes or some shoes or something to eat. Um, but it's okay for the NCAA to have uh, you know and these college campuses to make 5, 6 figures, 7 figures off of a player's jersey, or at one time a player's likeness on the cover of a video game. Okay, so there's a lot of hypocrisy there. But all that aside, I don't agree with it, and it's just a theory. You could take it with a grain of salt. Because me, like a lot of people, we're trying to piece together, we're trying to figure out what in the world is it, why Mark Richt will not ride with a guy that is clearly the more talented quarterback. And I'm just thinking that one, there's character issues that Mark Richt, with his personal convictions, you know, takes takes issue with, and there's also his concern with keeping the appearance and the perception of the program as clean, straight and narrow, straightforward, on the right path. You remember, we just came up out of sanctions in 2016. Okay, it's gonna take a while for us to get that stink off of us. All right, and I think he's just decided. It still doesn't explain why he pulled Perry just after two series in the Virginia game. It still doesn't explain that to me and a lot of other people. If you're gonna go with the kid, go with him. It still doesn't. But it does explain why he's been so patient with Malik and so willing to fall back on Malik Perry. I'm sorry, on Malik Rozier this season, because it's like, okay, you got this kid. He keeps his nose clean. He's a good athlete. He stays on the straight and narrow. He's a fifth year senior. You're not going to get in any trouble. Because I think Rick is kind of old school where he expects his quarterbacks to be leaders and somewhat of a moral compass for the team. And he's not getting that from Perry. And I think just out of the principle, he's trying to prove a point that you're 19 years old. You're not going to hold this program hostage. And I don't care how talented you are. You got to fly right. You got to do the things that's expected of you as a leader. And I'm trying to, cause I'm just theorizing, man. I'm trying to come to some sort of conclusion as to why this kid is not on the field, is not playing. Okay, and I've heard about him having issues learning the playbook, and having issues learning the playbook, or not being able to keep his mind right off the field, and and then you couple that with the fact that Miami does have an image issue with the NCAA, and we can't give them an excuse. All right. Now, my theory could be wrong. It could be asinine. If it is, if you got a better thought, if you got a better theory as to why we're going the route we're going, put it in the comments below. Cause I'm trying to figure it out, man. Tell me something. Um, but that's not the only issue we got. You know, I think eventually I've heard guys say that Mark Rick is trying to. Eventually, he's going to segue into an administrative position, maybe athletic director. They got Mark Rick, got him signed to what, 2022, 2023. I don't think he's going to coach that long. I do think he's going to resign before then. Um, and maybe it's a Manny is head coach in waiting. Which, let's face it, Manny Diaz is a competent coach. You know, uh, I could see him running the University of Miami program, but for the time being, we have issues with the offensive line. The offensive line is not being, the quarterbacks are not being developed, and over the past couple of games, we've even seen a bit of a regression with linebacker play, particularly McLeod. I don't know what's up with him, man. But all that said, the defense is still stellar. The defense is, I don't, there's nothing against the defense. Even with the linebackers, the play is still great defensive play. You know what I'm saying? It's still great linebacker play. It's just our issues, main issues of the QB situation, the play calling, and the offensive line and the special teams. And with the special teams, it's the punters, our punters and kickers in particular. But the most jarring issue is the quarterback situation, and I'm just trying to figure out what is the problem, what is the holdup, why is he so apprehensive, and he shows so little patience? Why does CMR, why does Coach Rick show so little patience with Perry? And I can only try to look at it and equate it to like you being a school teacher or a parent and you have children, and one of those children in your classroom or one of those children in your home, they reach a point in life, they reach that age where they want to be a jerk, and they're being a bit more of a jerk than the other children. And sometimes you just pull the trigger on them a little quicker than others. You got that one child that, they're just so hard headed that, for every little thing, and they're a bit more hard headed than the other children. So when they do, the other children, when they mess up, you might give them a talking to, you know what I mean, and be like, "Yeah, don't do it again." But that one child, or that one child in your class, or that one child at home, they mess up, you're like, "Nah, you're grounded." You know what I mean? Because enough already. And that might be the issue with Perry, man. That might be the reason why he pulled him out so quick out of the Virginia game. Because he had just had enough of the shenanigans off the field, and he's like, "This kid ain't doing what he was supposed to do." Get it. I think when Mark Richt said maturity, he didn't just mean in the football game. He wasn't just talking about that game, and he wasn't just talking about on the field performance. Rick knows that Perry is a better quarterback than Rozier. You know what I mean? But I think Rick would rather win 8, 9 games and keep the program clean and keep NCAA away than win 10 to 12, 11 games and 10, 11, 12 games and have the NCAA and the perception and thug you and all that bullshit. Because it's bullshit. It's a bullshit stereotype about Miami. Um, but either way, but even if that's the case, I think he's going about it. I still think he's going about it the wrong way. He's still going about it the wrong way. But I don't know. I don't see what Rick is seeing. And I'm not an insider like some of the guys in these blogs. You know what I mean? So either way, man, something's got to happen. Something's got to happen. I, I tell you right now, we play Duke next week. We'll probably be able to rebound with Duke. Don't be surprised if it's closer than it should be. But I'm not quite certain. I can tell you that I'm confident that we're going to win 8 or 9 games this year. I don't know, man. Y'all tell me. You let me know in the comments below. Because they still got to play. They still got to go to Blacksburg. And it's going to be cold in Blacksburg. Remember, remember what happened the last time we played in Blacksburg? Man, I don't know. But something's got to happen. Anyway, I've been rambling on. This video's gone on a lot longer than it should have, than I wanted it to. But I was just kind of conversing with you guys and to tell me what you think. And I'm just telling you what I think, what my theory is as to why the QB situation is what it is. I think Mark Rick is concerned with the perception and the appearance of the program and off-field behavior. And he's going to stick by his convictions, and he's going to ride or die with the kid that he thinks is going to keep his nose clean and keep the negative perception off of the program. Because I look, if it like I said before, if it were a wide receiver, or if N'Kosi Perry were a wide receiver or on special teams, or he was like a running back or something like that, I don't think that video would have even been an issue. But he's a QB, and I think Mark Rick, he's got a different. He tries to hold his QB, so how he wants his QB to be straight and narrow, choir boy. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. It's all about the you.